Hello, I am Brandon Clayton. Today we will be exploring bullying through the ethical and psychological concepts, moral identity, pro-social behavior, virtuous personality, and empathy. Together, this will help in understanding why bullying happens and how we can prevent it. These traits help explain why some might help or defend while others choose not to. Bullying is not just a social problem, but a moral one as well. It involves deliberately harming, excluding, or humiliating another person. Whether it happens in person or online through things such as social media or other social platforms, bullying challenges our values of empathy, fairness, and respect. And understanding moral traits helps us build the kind of moral awareness that prevents harm. Moral identity is the moral traits that are a part of who we are. When people value kindness and fairness as part of their identity, they are less likely to bully and more likely to defend others, even online. Moral identity helps us to act with integrity. In other words, morality is central to your identity. You make ethical choices even when no one is watching. Windrick and colleagues found that moral identity motivates pro-social behavior, and Goering and colleagues also showed that moral identity is linked to emotional well-being and a stronger sense of purpose. People who value moral traits are more likely to help others and stand up against bullying. As well, those with strong moral identity are less likely to join in or stay silent. This is because they see standing up for others as part of who they are. Empathy helps us feel what others feel. It is the heart of moral action. When interacting with others, empathy means pausing before saying hurtful things and imagining how it might feel to be the receiver of what is about to be said. Empathy also supports both moral identity and helping behavior. Morgan Bowers found that empathy plays a significant role in online behavior, reducing moral disengagement and making people less likely to excuse or ignore cruelty. Ping and colleagues also found that empathy predicts pro-social behavior, encouraging people to act kindly and support others. A virtuous personality means having stable moral traits, such as honesty and compassion, that guide your behavior in any situation. Also, virtue helps us to build moral strength. Liu and colleagues found that students with virtuous personalities are more likely to stand up to bullies and defend others. This occurs even if they do not have strong relationships with others. This suggests that virtue is not just about beliefs, but is about habits of character that lead to ethical action. Virtue gives people the courage to step in and protect others, even when it is uncomfortable or unpopular. Prosocial behavior is the act of choosing kindness, such as helping, defending, or comforting others. It is what empathy and moral identity inspire us to do. When people value kindness as part of who they are, they act to reduce harm. Hu found that moral culture encourages prosocial behavior, showing how values shape actions. Liu and colleagues showed that empathy and moral identity lead to greater bystander intervention. Prosocial behaviors are the visible results of empathy, virtue, and moral identity. They turn good intentions into ethical choices. Each of these traits supports the others. A virtuous personality builds moral identity. Empathy strengthens emotional understanding, and both drive prosocial behavior. Donovan and colleagues even found that virtual reality experiences can enhance compassion and moral reasoning by helping people step into another person's perspective. Together, they create a cycle of empathy, moral action, and ethical responsibility that helps reduce bullying and create a more ethical culture. How can we encourage these traits? Educators can promote empathy through perspective-taking activities or VR simulations that let students see situations from others' perspectives. Group discussions and book clubs build moral reflection and compassion. Schools and communities can also recognize acts of kindness, creating a culture where virtue and empathy are valued. And since so much bullying happens online, digital citizenship lessons can teach empathy and moral responsibility in virtual spaces. Ultimately, bullying is an ethical challenge. Strengthening empathy, moral identity, a virtuous personality, and pro-social behavior helps create a culture where kindness is the norm and allows people to act with integrity both in person and online. Ethics is not about big decisions. It is about small acts of kindness, courage, and respect that define our character. Gordon Moreno reminds us that moral courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. These are the references I used, drawing on recent research about empathy, moral identity, and virtuous personality and moral psychology. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation.